Hey you guys, we're in chapter 10, section 6. I know we're going back, but we want to cover a few more things about circles and arcs. So in this section, we want to be able to name an arc, we want to find the measures of arcs, and we want to find an arc length. So as always, let's start with some vocabulary. When we're talking about the measure of an arc, we're referring to the degrees of the central angle. Now arc length is a little bit different. When we're talking about arc length, we're referring to the fraction of a circle's circumference. The arc length can be found by taking the product of the circumference times the measure of the central angle divided by 360. Concentric circles, those are circles with the same center. So in the picture to the right, we have a picture of a bullseye, and all of these circles have the same center, so they're concentric circles. Our last vocab word is congruent arcs. These are arcs that have the same measure and they're in congruent circles. Alright, now let's find the measure of arcs. Now we've done this before and we know how to do this from chapter 12. Our example says, what is the measure of each arc? We have 4 different arcs we want to find the measure for. And remember, the measure of the arc coincides with the measure of its central angle. So for our first one, we have arc BC. Well, arc BC is created by our central angle BOC, and that central angle is 32. So our arc is equal to 32. Next, we want to find the measure of arc BD. Now that's this whole arc right here, and that's found by finding the angle of angle BOD. Now we know this angle is 32, and since this arc is 58, then this angle is 58, so 32 plus 58 is going to be our answer, and that adds to 90 degrees. The next measure we want to find is arc ABC. So A to B to C. And notice this is created by our diameter right here. And we know this is our diameter because it goes right through the center of our circle. So a semicircle is 180 degrees, so our arc is 180 degrees. Lastly, we want to find the measure of arc AB. Well, if this whole ABC is 180 and BC is 32, then we'll just take 180, subtract 32, and we'll get our arc measure. So 180 minus 32 is 148 degrees. Alright, so now I want you to try the same thing. You have your picture below. Find the measure of each arc in circle C. Alright, our last example here is to find the length of the arc shown in red. So I want to find my arc length. And again, the arc shown in red. We want to leave our answer in terms of pi. So in my example and in you try problem, leave your answer in terms of pi. Alright, well, we have the formula for arc length above here. We're going to find the circumference of our circle, and in our example here, circumference, remember, can either be found by 2 pi r or by pi d. And d stands for diameter. So in my example, I have the diameter at 16, so my circumference is going to be 16 pi. And I'm multiplying this by my angle, my central angle, over 360. Well, as you can see here, our central angle is 90 degrees. And so I'm just multiplying these together. Now 90 over 360, I can reduce that. So I really have 16 pi times 1 over 4 if I reduce 90 over 360. And then 16 pi times 1/4 gives me 4 pi. And my units here are inches. So 4 pi inches is my answer. So you try, find the arc length of the circle on the right. We want to find the arc length of this red arc, and I want you to leave your answer in terms of pi. Once you finish, that's it for this lesson, so I'll see you in class.